The chair will now recognize Mr. Davis for 5 minutes.
Chairman Harper, Ranking Member DeGrette, members of the subcommittee, I want to thank you for affording me an opportunity to speak with you today and to share with you USA Volleyball's commitment to the safety of our athletes. I joined USA Volleyball as its CEO in January of 2017, and in that time frame, I have been proud to lead an organization that respects all of our participants and places the highest value on personal safety before medal counts. USA Volleyball actively encourages our members to report any and all incidents regarding sexual misconduct or abuse, and we provide them a safe environment to express their concerns. We report and investigate any allegation brought forward, and we have the obligation to take appropriate action if necessary. This is the core of our values. USA Volleyball has long championed a culture of protection of all participants. We were one of the first NGBs to implement a robust background screening policy. Beginning the 2004-2005 volleyball season, USA Volleyball started working with nationally respected background screening company SSCI and implemented a policy requiring individuals who participate with junior volleyball clubs to submit to a background screening. Recognizing a need to do more to protect athletes of all ages, USA Volleyball formed a commission in 2010 to address participant safety, named the Special Commission on Athlete Safeguards. This commission set out to review the current trends and best practices in athlete safety and produce recommendations for USA Volleyball to implement. The recommendations of the committee were extensive, but included 1, developing a procedure for reporting sexual harassment or abuse allegations, 2, formulating written policies that define inappropriate behavior, and 3, providing continual education on these kinds of topics to USA Volleyball participants and parents. The Commission's work paved the way for USA Volleyball to establish early safe sport policies and procedures before it was even called Safe Sport. We are proud to have been a very early endorser of a Safe Sport program and of a supporter of the U.S. Center for Safe Sport. As I hope is evident, USA Volleyball has long considered safety of our athletes to be a top priority. This priority was not suddenly created in response to recent headlines or as a result of mounting public scrutiny, but done so because many years ago, we recognized protecting our athletes and members as the right thing to do. I would like to address the case of Mr. Rick Butler, who has made headlines in the volleyball world. Mr. Butler is a well-known private volleyball club owner and coach in the Chicagoland suburb of Aurora, Illinois. His club, Sports Performance Volleyball, is not owned or operated by USA Volleyball. However, its athletes and coaches are required to be members of USA Volleyball if they wish to participate in USA Volleyball sanctioned events. In 1995, allegations of sexual misconduct were brought forth by 3 women that took place while they were members of his private and played at his privately owned club. The women claimed that Mr. Butler had a sexual relationship with them in the 1980s while he was their coach and while they were under the age of 18. As a result of those allegations, in 1995, USA Volleyball found that Mr. Butler had violated our rules, and as a result, they voted to ban him for life. After 5 years passed, and upon Mr. Butler's request for reinstatement, USA Volleyball voted to conditionally reinstate Mr. Butler's membership in the year 2000 under the limitation of Mr. Butler's inability to ever coach junior girls in USA Volleyball sanctioned events. To be clear, regardless of all the headlines surrounding this matter, and since the year 1995, Mr. Butler has been banned from coaching junior girls under USA Volleyball, a condition of his lifetime ban that never changed. Furthermore, these allegations are a result of Mr. Butler's activities as a club director and coach for his privately owned club and not a part of USA Volleyball national team programs. In late 2016, several brave women came forward to USA Volleyball to provide new allegations against Mr. Butler for sexual misconduct dating back to the 1980s. Based on these women's claims, USA Volleyball filed new charges against Mr. Butler, and in January of 2018, USA Volleyball's Ethics and Eligibility Committee held a hearing regarding these allegations. Mr. Butler was once again found to have violated our rules, and as a result, Mr. Butler was banned from total participation in USA Volleyball for life without the possibility of reinstatement. Our efforts were recently applauded by the CEO of Champion Women, Ms. Nancy Hogshead-Makar, one of the nation's most vocal advocates for women's rights in sports. In her letter addressed to me on April 2, 2018, Ms. Hogshead-Makar wrote in part, quote, "We are reaching out today to thank you for banning Rick Butler from volleyball for his sexual predation of young girls. It took a lot to be the first organization to ban him, and we are grateful for your strong commitment to the victims and safety of all athletes. We are optimistic that these efforts will make a difference the next time any sports organization has to make a call to investigate, hold a hearing, or ban a member if necessary," end quote. I do not pretend that we have been perfect, nor do I ignore the fact that there have been some offenders in our midst. I encourage anyone listening to me today that if you have information of any misconduct within our organization, past or present, please contact our offices or the U.S. Center for Safe Sport. We will listen and we will act. We want to create the safest, most enjoyable atmosphere for volleyball players of all ages and look forward to a day when there is no sexual abuse or misconduct in volleyball. We will do everything we can to make this a reality, and we look forward to working with others to do so. Thank you, and I look forward to your questions.
Mr. Davis, I really thank you for your testimony today. It underscores the point of how important it is we get this right. We can think we've got it right, and then it turns out we didn't get it right, and then years later, you have to continue to deal with the problems from not getting it right. It is important that we be right on this.